All right, fellas, if you ever wanted to get more done in less time, we're talking about productivity today. I'm really excited because the concept I'm going to be talking about today just radically transformed my life with being able to get more done in less time. With the 24 hours that you have in your day, if you are trying to maximize and optimize that time to get as much done during that time, we're going to be talking about a very unique way of thinking that is unconventional, but this is what the pros do. This is how the high performers, the real high performers think in terms of their time and how to be so efficient and effective with it. We're talking about productivity today here on Elite Performance with Dr. Brad. Let's get it. Okay, all right. So let's get it in, fellas. Today, we're going to be talking about productivity, which is basically how do we get more done in our day? How do we really optimize and maximize the time that we have in our day? We've all got the same 24 hours. Obviously, some people do more with their 24 hours than others. But I really want you to think about your 24 hours as we talk about this today, and what you do with that time. And I don't know, you might be like me. Like, I'm trying to get as much done as I can with the time that I have awake, right? Like I've got goals. I know you've got goals. I'm trying to achieve those goals. And the more I can get done in a shorter period of time means that we can achieve our goals faster or achieve greater goals. And so I don't know if you've ever felt like, despite the fact that you've felt like you've been really busy, like you've had days where you feel like you were doing a lot, but at the end of the day or the end of the week, it feels like you really didn't have a whole lot to show for it. Like you put in a lot of effort, you put in a lot of work, but it's like there really wasn't a whole lot of results on the other end to show for it. And you're tired, but the level of effort that you put in just doesn't seem to uh, to really justify what you got on the other end of all the work that you put in. Seems like 24 hours in your day is just not enough. Have you ever felt that way? Like, dude, I just wish I had more time to be able to do the things that I want to do. I know exactly how you feel. I felt that way before as well. And the challenge is this, yeah, like I said, we only get 24 hours. We get 24 hours. And if you break up that 24 hours, part of that 24 hours is going to be spent sleeping, right? So hopefully you get somewhere between 6 and 8 hours of sleep, right? Which means that you got somewhere around 16 hours left of the day to go. But then some of that time is going to be spent doing stuff that you know you just have to do, like getting ready for your day, driving, going to the bathroom, eating. If you have a family, you're probably spending family time or time with a significant other. If you've got obligations outside of work, and a lot of what I'm talking about right now is work productivity, like your career or business, some of the goals that you have in career or business. But you can really apply what we're going to be talking about today in any area or facet of life. But some of that time is going to be spent towards recreation or working out or church. But after all that's done, you're only left with a certain amount of time to be able to get work done. If you're anything like me, I'm trying to figure out how can I optimize that time. And so here is the formula for productivity. It's two things, two E's. Very simple to very simple concept to understand. It's efficiency and effectiveness. We're trying to be both efficient and effective with our time. And so efficiency is doing a lot of work in a short period of time, like getting a lot done in a certain period of time. And so you would be more efficient if within the same hour you actually got more work done. So that's efficiency. But being effective is actually working on the right task during that hour that will bring about the greatest result. So efficiency is almost like a measure. It's a measure. It's like a measurement. How much can I get done in less time? You talk about homes that are energy efficient. It means that they spend less energy, but can still cool or heat the home the same way, right? Um, but effectiveness is it cooling the main rooms that I need to be cooled, right? Effectiveness is, am I working on the right task to bring about the greatest result? And so here's the thing: efficiency, that measurement of efficiency, typically requires more work, right? Because we're talking about something getting done in a certain period of time. So like typically it requires doing more of the actual work. Whereas effectiveness typically requires more thought. Hey, what do I need to work on? What needs to get done? What is the next best move? Right? So efficiency is more work. Effectiveness typically requires more thought. But whenever you get efficiency and effectiveness together, that's productivity. And if you increase both of those, one or both of those, your productivity actually elevates. A couple of examples of this is efficiency, or being efficient would be able to read a lot in a short period of time. Like I went to medical school. I was never a fast reader, but just to kind of, make the point, that I'm making here, to give you an example of the point that I'm making, it would be able to read a lot in a short period of time. But effectiveness would be, are you reading the right book that you need to in order to learn what you're trying to learn? Efficiency would be a measure of running really fast. Effectiveness would be, am I running in the right direction? am I running in the right lane? Right? Now, if you think about high performers, I want you to think about some people, right? I want you to think about some people who are just really high performers and they just seem to get a lot done with their 24 hours than maybe you do. Or just people. I want you to think about people. I mean, I'm sure you think about somebody, right? Like they seem to get a whole lot done. And there are people who seem to get a lot done and it seems to be effortless. Like they get the workout done, they get the church done, they get the side business done, they get the business done, they spend time with their family, and it just seems to all work. And they don't seem like they're like stressed. See, I knew people like that. Like I was once one of those people who was trying to do that. And some people now ask me, like, how do you get so much done? Do you do the podcast? You have a you have a practice, like you coach, you have a family, and you seem to get it all done. But we're going to be talking today about how to think, how do you go from where you are now to actually being able to be a real high performer, a pro high performer. And so here's the I guess you could say the problem or the challenge is that most of us believe that if we work harder, that we'll get more done in our day. And that's not necessarily false, right? Sure, you can work harder. You can do more work. That makes sense, right? I mean, I thought that way before for years. If I just work harder, I will get more done. If I just, just like a bulldog, just like a bulldozer, like I just gonna work. I'm just gonna push through it. And whether I'm tired or not, I'm just gonna work hard. I'm just gonna put in more hours. And typically, in the productivity formula, efficiency plus effectiveness, we tend to focus on efficiency, just working harder, working more hours, or just trying to jam pack more work in less time, or just saying, I'm just going to work more hours. And so we're asking that question, like, how can we be more efficient? How can we get like a whole lot done in less time? And the reason that we like this efficiency piece and like working harder is because it makes us feel better about ourselves. Think about it. When we're doing work, men, fellas, listen, this is what we were like meant to do. We like to work. We were built to work. We were made to work. As a matter of fact, if you read Genesis chapter 1, one of the first things God created us to do was work. It's one of the first things he said. I mean, he made man, then he said, I work. Eve wasn't around yet. He made us work. So we were built and made to work. And so, therefore, when it comes to trying to get more done, for us, it just seems easy. Well, I'm just going to work more because it's kind of this badge of honor for us to be able to work more, do more work. We feel better about ourselves when we're doing stuff. We feel better about ourselves, and we feel more accomplished when we feel like we've put in work. And so we get motivated on our goals and we go after them and we start working harder. How can I make it happen faster and quicker? And what that turns into oftentimes is, since we're just going to work more hours and just do more, it oftentimes turns into less sleep because, again, we only got so much time in the day. So we start stealing hours. I'm not even going to say borrow. We think we're borrowing time from the things that matter, like sleep. We start really stealing time from our sleep. We start stealing time from other things that matter, like our faith. It's like, well, you know what? I'm not gonna spend that time with God today. I know it's been good, but I gotta get some work done. I'm gonna compromise that. I'm not gonna spend as much time with my family or with my wife. I'm gonna cut out on the workout. You start stealing time that belongs to other areas of your life that really matter, and you start stealing that time to put in to do more work, to try to get more accomplished. And what that results in is being tired, being stressed, and being frustrated because now you've stolen enough time over time that has become habitual that you don't work out, don't spend time with God. Now you're stressed. And even though you may have achieved the goal or you're getting closer to it, it's come at too great of a cost. Before you look back, before long, you look back, you're like, man, how did I get here? Like, I'm accomplishing my goal, but like it's come at too great of a cost because being so focused on being efficient, really, I mean, we probably don't become very efficient at all because we're just spending more time, right? We're just using more time and cutting into the things that matter. And so it comes at too great of a cost, or we don't even achieve our goals at all. And so I've experienced this in my own life. However, I have learned one of the most important keys to being more productive in your day and in your life, no matter what the goal is. And it's not thinking about working harder, working more. See, what I've learned is that efficiency is more glamorous. Efficiency, doing the work, working hard, working more hours is more glamorous and glorious. It is the more glamorous and glorious part of the equation to productivity, but it's not the greatest part of the equation. It's more glamorous. We like to work, hashtag grind and hustle. You see all this stuff on social media. Work hard, grind. And the world certainly wants you to believe like you just have to work harder. I'm not saying you don't have to put in work. Follow me here. I'm not saying you don't have to put in work, but here's what I found is that effectiveness is greater than efficiency. I found that effectiveness is oftentimes greater than efficiency. Efficiency is glamorous and glorious, but it's not greater than effectiveness. See, I'm all about working hard, putting in work. I am. I really am. And getting a lot done. But the question is this: I'm working hard, but am I working on the right thing? I'm putting in a bunch of work, but am I working on the right thing? Hey, I'm putting in a bunch of work, but I'm running fast. I'm moving fast. I'm going. But am I running in the right direction? You are working hard, but are you working on the right thing to get the most done in a certain amount of time? Are you working on the right thing? Are you running in the right direction? See, you might be doing a lot of networking. You might be doing a lot of networking, meeting a whole bunch of people, but are you meeting the right people? Right? You might be working out a lot. You might be working out a lot. You might be working out hard. But the question is, are you doing the right workout? See, you might be working hard on your business, on your career, but are you working on the right thing in your business or your career? See, nothing wrong with hard work. But the question is, are you running in the right direction? Are you in the right lane? Are you working on the actually right tasks that would get you the most squeeze out of that limit? Right? See, effectiveness requires less doing, less actual like work and doing the tangible stuff, but more thinking. Effectiveness requires less doing, but more thinking. But see, thinking isn't glamorous, fellas. Thinking is not glamorous. See, I'm a big Nike guy. It's funny because we went shoe shopping this past weekend. I'm a Nike guy. I've always been a Nike guy. My kids were like, "Why you like Nike?" My daughter, she plays soccer, and so she kind of was around Adidas. And my son, he had some Adidas shoes, and I was like, I just like their motto: "Just do it, just do it." I was like, I like their slogan: "Just do it." We like Nike. Just do it. But see, that's glamorous. To just do it is glamorous. Nike never said, "Just think it." Right? Nike never said that. Matter of fact, I don't think there's anybody who just said just think it or think first because it's not glamorous. We want to do. We're men. We want to be out there doing something, making something happen, working on something. But are we working on the right thing? See, the world would have you believe that you gotta grind and hustle your way to the top. But let me tell you, the pro performers, they think they spend more time thinking than the person who's actually doing. See, that's only part of the equation is doing. And if you are a high achiever, if you're listening to this, typically your problem is not a lack of doing. See, there's some people out here, and that's not who this podcast is for. People who might be lazy in getting started. If you listening to this podcast, you are a doer. Like lack of doing is not your problem. You'll do what it has to take. You're like, just tell me what it is I got to do. You'll put in the work. You'll go to the gym. You'll do what you have to do for the business. If you're listening to this podcast, you are a doer. That is not your problem. For the people who are lazy and maybe not want to get up in the morning to make stuff happen, to create significance, to create impact, that message is for them, that hashtag grind, hustle. That's for them. You got to realize who they're talking to. Or if you're procrastinating on something, yes, Nike, just do it. Okay, let's go. But typically, if you are a high achiever, your problem is not the doing. We've fallen so much in love with the doing that we're not thinking about what we're doing. We're just not thinking enough. I absolutely love a quote by Abraham Lincoln. And if you understand this quote, you'll understand you'll understand what this whole episode is about. Abraham Lincoln quote says, "If you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." Could drop the mic right there. I don't have a mic to drop. It's actually sitting on my desk here, but you understand what I'm saying. Give me 6 hours to chop down the tree. I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. My question is, what does your sharpen the axe time look like? Do you have some sharpen the axe time? Some time that is completely dedicated to sharpening the axe. See, because most of us are trying to chop down a tree with a bat, and we're not stopping long enough to look up and realize that, oh, yeah, we got some, we're knocking some bark off that tree, but it's coming at the cost of a torn rotator cuff, no sleep, and a bat that's worn out. But we putting in work because we've fallen in love with the work, with the doing. We have to become better thinkers if we're really going to change the course of our life, the direction of where you're trying to go. We just have to be a better thinker. And no one teaches this. No one talks about this. See, thinking means slowing down. It's all the stuff that we don't want to do. Thinking means slowing down. You got to slow down a second to think. You got to stop swinging the bat. You got to stop running for a second to just slow down. Thinking means slowing down. Thinking means sitting down in silence long enough to ask the right questions. Hey, man, where am I going? Hey, am I actually going in the right direction? Hey, is this the best next step for me to take right now? Hey, let me look at what I was doing and let me look at what worked in the past. It's asking the right questions, but you got to sit down long enough to do that. You got to slow down. Thinking means setting aside, scheduling time to think, right? Thinking means to stop doing long enough to see if you're still heading in the right direction. Thinking means looking in the mirror sometimes and realizing that maybe it's time to do something different. But see, here's why we don't want to think, fellas. Here's why we don't want to think more. Is because it means that we actually have to slow down. We don't want to. It becomes so self-gratifying just to be doing something that even if it's wrong, we'll keep doing it. We don't like slowing down. It means coming to a conclusion that we may actually be going in the wrong direction. Our egos have gotten so big, including myself, when I was, trying to figure this out, that I didn't want to hurt my own feelings by thinking whether I should be doing something different or whether I need to shift things a little bit. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to look in the mirror. It hurts. Right? Thinking more, the reason why we don't is because it's just not cool or glamorous. Hey man, what's part of your day gonna be? I'm gonna think and strategize. Like strategize is a nice word, but think. We're talking about thinking. And we're impatient. It seems like nothing gets done when we're thinking. And we'll get caught up in the trap again of just I gotta do something. I gotta do something because I'm thinking. I gotta get busy. I gotta get going. So let me tell you, man, the benefits of thinking. Oh man, less mistakes, faster wins. Think about the Abraham Lincoln quote. Same 6 hours, less work, less actual like physical work, and still being able to get it done. And here's the best part about it. Oh my gosh, you get better at it. One of the benefits of thinking is you get better at thinking. Anything that you do over and over and over again, you will get better at thinking. Because I'll tell you, when you first start doing this, you'll be like, man, I don't even know if I'm thinking right, if I'm doing right. But you get better at it. You get better at asking the right questions. You actually can get more efficient at being effective. See, what I mean by that is you'll get so much better at thinking that the way of thinking becomes quicker and faster. You'll get more efficient at being effective at the thinking part. But we got to put in that time. See, my story is one in which hard worker, man. I was a hard worker, motivated. I got to get some stuff done. but it was coming at too great of a cost. And I just got tired of hitting my head up against the wall, man. I was like, how there's some way. There's some people who just get more done and they seem to do it and get it all done and consistently do it. And I started being around some of these people and I started understanding, I started reading books and I started practicing and applying this stuff. And I started, number one, really, I started believing. I started believing that there could be a way that you could actually work less. I started believing that there's an actual way that you can actually think more, do less, and get more done. Whew. I actually believed that could be possible, that you can think more, do less, get more done, that I can sharpen the axe, swing less times, and still chop down the tree, or maybe more trees. See, and when I started believing that, I started applying this stuff. Let me just tell you, I was able to get more done in each area of my life, still maintain great health, still maintain a practice, get busier in my practice, still be able to do coaching, still be able to do the podcast, still be able to spend time with the family, to be able to ask the right questions in each of those areas of life and say, what are the most effective tasks that bring about the greatest return in my health, in my marriage, in my relationship with my kids, in my business? And then practice it. So you can't think all day, right? Some of this stuff I just had to start applying and you kind of got to figure it out. But if you don't start thinking, you'll never get good at it. You can't think all day. You can't just philosophize all day. I don't even know if that's a word, but you can't just think all day. You got to put it into practice at some point. But let me tell you, it's worth getting good at because there's only so many hours of the day. There is literally only so many hours of the day. And I don't know about you, but I ain't trying to go to bed exhausted every single night, feeling like, yes, I put in a whole lot of work, but I don't feel like I have a whole lot to show for it. And here's the deal. It was scary at first because I had to, as I'm thinking, I'm realizing there's some mistakes I'm making. Or maybe there's something else I need to do. I've been running in the wrong direction. We're running so hard, we're running so fast that we're not looking up long enough to see if we're running in the wrong direction. Oftentimes because we don't want to face it ourselves. We don't want to face that we're wrong. So, as always, there's a couple action items I want you to do. I want you just to spend time. Spend time today on whatever your greatest goal is that you're going after right now, whatever matters to you most. I want you to just ask yourself, like, what's the best step to take toward achieving this goal? You got to sit down long enough to realize what is your goal. Is it still the same as it was months ago or years ago? Has it changed? Do you still want it? What do you want out of life? What do I want? It's one of the biggest questions you can ever ask. Oh my gosh. What do you want? How do you want life to look? These are all questions you need to think about. Otherwise, life just becomes this monotony of just aimless tasks. Life can look the way you want it to look. I mean, it really can. But you got to think and know what you want. You got to try to think about how you can get there. You got to spend time doing it. And you can do it. You can do it. Trust me. Trust me on that. Spend some time today. Just, set aside 10, 15 minutes. Start doing it more often. I spend a few minutes every day. I've gotten better at it. Used to take me a little longer. Now I spend every morning looking at my day and saying, what do I have to do? What am I trying to get done today in each of these areas of my life? What do I need to do today in order to get closer to my goal this week, in order to get closer to my goal this month, next year, and so forth? And you adjust and change over time, but you just got to spend the time, set the time aside. And then ask the same question weekly. How'd my week go? How'd last week go? How's this week going to go? What do I need to do? What's the best next step to take? And spend time thinking. But here's what I want you to understand, fellas. Think more, do less, get more done.